evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ron Wallace with Ballin' Down South, and boy, do I have a treat for you guys today here on the network. Definitely a new head basketball coach on the Division One level in the SWAC conference. I can tell you, he's a 13 season NBA player, definitely NBA champion, and an NBA All Star. And I'm not going to even hold up anymore. I'm going to introduce you guys to Alabama State new men's basketball head coach Mo Williams. How you doing, Coach?
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me, Ron.
I'm pretty good, Coach. Man, I know. No, I saw you was as one of the candidates there for Alabama State, and I was talking to one of my friends. I said, Coach Williams gonna get that job. Watch what I tell you with the experience he has, and he's been coaching on a Coach Godfrey. I mean, how can you turn that down? You know, and I'm very sure it was a lot of other candidates and stuff like that. But I mean, Coach, I would say coming out of Jackson, Mississippi, how was it growing up, in Mississippi as a young man?
Well, for one, I grew up in the SWAC. Being in Mississippi, my mom, my dad, my sister, my brother. I can even go a little bit further with aunts and uncles and cousins. All attended this historical, black conference and university. So I'm familiar with it. Growing up, going to all the football games, going to homecoming, going to basketball, baseball, football, you name it. We just been a part. It's a fabric of me. It's in my blood. So I'm extremely excited. The opportunity obviously was there with the job opening, and I threw my name in the hat, and voila, look what happened.
Well, we're gonna back up, rewind just a little bit, Coach. How was it growing up in Jackson and going to a big university like Alabama?
Well, for one, that process out of high school was very hard for me because, like I said, I'm from Jackson, and my growing up was HBCU all day. That's all I really knew until I, became, one of the top players in the country, and then all of a sudden, every school in the country was reaching out to me, and you go to UCLA, you go to Georgetown, you go to Alabama, you go to LSU, and you see all what they had to offer. But that was a shock to me because it was just so different from what I was used to, and that was a great experience also. But at the same time, my roots and my blood it started here. Um, and people asking me all kind of questions on why Alabama State, but I always have a rebuttal. Why not? And for a multitude of reasons why it makes sense. A guy like myself, with everything I've accomplished in my life, I mean, what better group of kids that you want to give that experience to? If if I only if the only success I have being a head coach at Alabama State is graduating all my players, I'm somewhat successful because I got those kids in a situation in life that'll have them prolong later on down in life down the road, and they appreciate that academic success. But like I said, if that's the least I done, so my goal is obviously win. My goal is obviously turn the program around and bring them back to prominence. I understand, 2008, 2009, they did the thing. We just trying to rekindle those moments.
Now, Coach, going back, to your college days, playing for Coach Godfrey as a freshman, you helped lead the team to an SEC championship. You guys were like the second seed in the tournament. How was it playing under Coach Godfrey with his tutelage? When you were back a freshman back at Alabama.
Well, I've only got great experiences with Mark. Coach G has been great to me. That's starting from high school when he recruited me. Everything he said he was going to do for me, those goals got accomplished. That made me the professional career that I had. Then going into college coaching, just getting my start is kind of back square one where he gave me my chance, on the court. Now he gave me my chance coaching, and he gave me the tools and little tad bits here on what I need to expect when I come ahead, coach. He always took that approach with me from day one, preparing me for this moment. So, to answer your question, with Mark, I mean, he's been great for me. He's a lifeline for me, one of a lot of coaches out there. So I'm just ready for the opportunity. I'm prepared for the opportunity. I'm ready to get to work.
Now, going like that, and that's great. Coming into the NBA, you left Alabama early, 2 years still left. What made you make that decision that you were ready to go ahead and go to the NBA? And you getting drafted with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Carmelo Anthony, all those guys. What made you make that decision? And once you did get drafted, with the 47th overall pick by the Utah Jazz, what did that mean to
It's
you
definitely
and to your family at
it's
that time?
definitely a tough. It's definitely a tough. It was a tough decision because obviously we was really good at Alabama at the time, and we had a good team coming back. Actually, when I left, I'm sorry, and went to the draft the next year, that's when we went. That same team that I left went to the Elite Eight. So I always had in the back of my mind, like, wow, if I would have stayed, maybe we could have won a national championship. So with that being said, it was just a tough decision, but at the same time, I put, that was a goal of mine. That was a goal of mine, and it was attainable. It was right there, and at the same time, I just felt like it was something that I wanted to achieve, and I was ready for that opportunity. And it's almost like, if you can give a little reminiscence of today, if you fast forward, you know, I had 2 years left for eligibility. I left early. I had some doubters saying, he should have stayed in school. Well, he may have left too early, things like that. But, I took the approach, said, you know what, I'm ready. I'm ready for the challenge. I'm going to get better each and every single day. And I'm going to get to the point where I get drafted, and 6 years later, I was an all-star. So I take the same approach in this coaching. People always come and say, hey, you only got 2 years of experience. Yeah, I had 2 years experience in college basketball also. And that turned out to a great 14-year career. So I kind of used that kind of platform, to motivate myself, knowing that I'm prepared and I'm ready.
Now coming in here to Alabama State, regardless what their season has been for the last several years, have you been able to see exactly? I'm not asking you who's going to be on your staff, but have you been looking at some people, and what do you expect out of your assistant coaches that's going to be on your staff?
Well, obviously, that's the beauty of being a head coach. You hire the guys that fits your personality, fits what you want to get done, and works extremely hard. But most importantly, you have a camaraderie between you guys, and that's what I look for in my staff. And obviously, we're working on that now, getting that done. Locating those guys, and I'm talking to guys every single day. So at the end of the day, by the end of the month, we should be good in that area of who exactly who is going to be. But at the same time, those are characteristics I'm looking for. Those are characteristics I know that help the success of my vision and my goal that I want to get accomplished. And the first step of setting that foundation is hiring the right staff. And then obviously it goes from there, just setting the foundation, setting the culture.
Now, Coach, it'll probably be some younger kids in high school looking at this interview. What would you tell them, dealing with this pandemic right now? What can they do, to stay on top of their game and be ready for their next season, especially these seniors coming up with one more year, possibly getting ready to go to college? What would you say to those young men and women?
Well, physically right now, obviously you can't train the way you want to train, but you can train, but physically can't. I think mentally, this is the mental aspect of it. You got to be mentally. That's what mental toughness come in at. Developing yourself in a lot of different ways. Obviously, taking advantage of things. Picking up a book that'll help you in life. Because you got idle time. Expand yourself. Not just athletically. Do something else that'll help better you as a person and on the court. Read some books. Find a documentary. Go get guys like Bill Russell and they Jerry West, the legends. They have books out there, and they have things that you can learn. As a youth, you have time right now. There's no obligation where you have to be somewhere. You're at home. So I would recommend all the youth out there to just take time and step away from just the hustle and bustle in the gym all the time, training all the time, and kind of get your mind on a level and try to expand your horizon and the way you think.
Coach, have you been able to speak with any of the guys that's coming that are coming back on your
Oh,
roster? Have you been
absolutely.
able to reach out?
I've spoken with all my guys that's coming back. We talk to them every day. Obviously, we just trying to do this COVID. That's all we can do. So we stay in communication with them. Our summer school starts May 26th, so we're focusing on the academic side of it, getting those guys in the right classes and make sure they're in summer school, make sure they're doing the right things academically, amongst a lot of other things. We're doing our schedule. I mean, we're working, so but we're keeping those guys abreast on the current situation. Obviously, as information comes to us, we gotta relay it to our players just to make sure they understand what's going on and where we're going, where we're moving forward to.
Well, I know I saw just yesterday the NCAA Council approved involuntary, training and stuff like that starting June 1. Definitely everybody in the sports world, football, basketball, whatever sport they may play that's coming up, is hoping that they're able to open things back up and get back out there. But definitely we're going to keep an eye on Alabama State, Coach, whenever basketball starts. Glad and thankful that you came onto the network, and it's been a pleasure to definitely get an NBA champion and All-Star coming in here locally to the state of Alabama to coach Alabama State.
I appreciate it. Go Hornets.